Alright, once you've installed Steam and then purchased Tabletop Simulator, it should be available in your library. So you see here my library contains Tabletop Simulator. You see this big green button. We'll cover that later on. What you want to do is to look for the MEST Tactics baseline under the workshop. So you go to workshop, and then in this field here you type in MEST Tactics baseline, and then you click the search function. Once you do that, it'll come up with a number of modules, and the MEST Tactics baseline, you want to subscribe to that. So click on this particular entry, and you'll see, like, the overview of what it looks like. Down here, you'll see the subscribe button. Click on that, and it should become available. Right. So now you can go back to your top of your interface and click on the play. And you want to launch Play Tabletop Simulator. And once you do that, it will launch an instance for you. So when it comes up, it'll show you this modal dialog. And click on the Create, and you can create a single player, multiplayer, or hot seat. And for this demo, you'll be doing a bunch of single player stuff. Once you set up your game environment, then you can do multiplayer and then have others join to it. So click on single player. Alright, so this is what you see when you first load up Tabletop Simulator. It shows a games matrix. If this matrix does not appear, you can go to the toolbar at the top and click on the games button, and it will show up. In the workshop row, you'll see all the games for which you subscribed, and once you've subscribed to MEST Tactics baseline, it will be here. Clicking on this will load and destroy the previous game state, which includes anything that you did not yet save. So click on that, and it gives you the neutral view of the MEST Tactics battlefield and dozens upon dozens of components, many of which are scripted. You'll see there's two sides, a blue side and a red side. I'm currently the red player. To change your player color, you go to the top right and click on Change Color, and it gives you these circles to click on. I'll just choose red. You can also belong to a different team. I'll just choose none. And you can see here on the host player, it's a single player mode at this time. The navigation of this battlefield is a 3D virtual space. It uses some common hotkeys. To get to the hotkeys, go to the menu, Help menu, and you can see this list of hotkeys. The very common ones are WASD for panning the camera left, right, bottom, to the up and bottom, up and top. And there's like a need for a 3-button mouse. Mouse wheel is very important. If you don't have a mouse wheel or a 3-button mouse, you can use Control-Click. It does some of the same things. You can also change the configuration of the hotkeys in the other menu item here for configuration for controls. Alright, I created a number of useful environmental controls for this game. Let's go navigate to these buttons here. Right. Inside Tabletop Simulator, you'll know that it's a button when you hover over a component and a red circle appears. When that red circle appears, it means you can interact with it. So right now the battlefield, you can see, is I'm using the mouse wheel to go in and out. The battlefield is a green field. And you can see here, this is the green field. I can also change it to brown, to tarmac, which is black, snow, which is white, cement, which is gray, and flagstone, which is this other thing. Let's go back to green. If you ever get lost with where you are navigating, press the space bar and you go back to the neutral view. The neutral view is a top view of the battlefield from a third player's perspective. You have other perspectives. You can press the P key to get to a first-person camera, which is great for VR, terrible for gameplay in this case. Hit P again, you're in top view. Top view is excellent for precise measurement, and we'll use that often during the tutorial. And P again to get back to third-person perspective. Okay, so in the game area, you'll see that these two big bars exist, these semi-transparent red and blue. These are your hidden hand zones. A hand zone is where you can receive cards, and then it will provide you this really convenient UI to show what those cards are. And a hidden basically means that if you have it in this zone, the other player can't see it if they're not the same color as you. Let's go and load some cards to demonstrate this. So we go to Objects, Components, Cards, and a standard deck. Let's close this out. Right, so you have 52 cards here, poker deck, right? If I type in 3, as I hover over this deck, it'll give me 3 cards. And you can see that the cards in my hand zone, are conveniently displayed here, right? If I want to flip a card upside down, I press F as I hover over a card. Anything I have in my hidden hand zone, the other players can't see. Face up or face down. You can drag them out like this. Okay, and to delete anything, you select All with the area select and press Delete. Keep in mind that Tabletop Simulator has an undo function. You never want to press that. The undo function are these arrows here. It's going to rewind time. You have 19 states already stored. It's very destructive. You don't want to do it at all. But anyway, just go ahead and delete these cards. Alright, so the battlefield area is demarcated by these pawns. I have reminder pawns here, for example, and a dynamic pawn here. The pawns and other elements are on the right-hand side. You can see the reminder pawn right there. Let's go and clone the reminder pawn. You can right-click, and you can copy or clone. Actually, just copy it. And when we're done with it, we can do a paste. Right, so let's go zoom in. And this reminder pawn has a measurement thing associated with it. Oh, that's a good point. On the left-hand side, you have this line, and it should default to grid. If you click on the grid, it goes to inches and centimeters. Grid is very specific to the MEST Tactics battlefield arrangement. What that means, if you go to Options and you go to Grid, you can see here my grid size is 1.18 inches, which is about 30 millimeters, right? The size of a size 3 model base. Alright, so as you click and drag the reminder pawn, it tells you how many measured units, or per se inches, that you've dragged it. That's one really nice feature of the reminder pawn. That feature is on because if you go to toggles, you right click on reminder pawn, go to toggles, measure movement, right? That's check marked. Alright, so what does reminder pawn do? Well, if you right click on that, it gives you a number of options. It gives you a radius for where this white circle appears, and it gives you 1 through 4, and also a via tooltip. So let's change this to a 4. You can see that the circle is a little bit bigger. Change to a 1, it's a little bit smaller, right? Here's a 2. The tooltip, it comes down to here, this description. I have it as 8 by default. So if I go via tooltip, this radius from the reminder pawn will become 8 measured units. Huge, right? And of course, I can just always change this value to like 16 and make it even larger. Here goes 16. There it is. Okay, let's make it back to 8. And then go there, and then back again to make it 2. That's the reminder pawn. Okay, I've deleted the reminder pawn, and let's go demonstrate these bases next. Let's go navigate to the right-hand side and zoom in a little bit. So I have these bases. There's 6 of them. There's 60 millimeter, 50, 40, 30, 25, and 20. These represent sizes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the standard size for MEST Tactics models, though you can have smaller ones and larger ones, of course. These bases are scripted. These are, you see how the little infinity symbol above that? If you click and drag a base out, you can keep on doing that, right? And for convenience sake, I added these standard, nondescript models here. Each of these, if you go to right click and go to tags, they're identified as model. The bases will interact with the models. You can bind the models to get the behaviors that the bases will issue to it. Right now, if you right-click a model, you see there are no custom scripts associated with that model. Let's go to the top view. Press P, and I'm in top view. Let's go in a little closer. And let's drag the soldier here on top of this base. It turns white when you write over it. And when you're lined up just right, let go, and you'll see a flash of green, which will demonstrate that it's been bound. It's been bound. Let's do the same thing with this spear fighter. Go tags, it's a model. Good. So we'll go above this one. Right, drop it. There's green. All right, what does the green do? Let's go back into third-person perspective. If you click on the model, you can drag it around. And of course, the model and the base goes with it. But if you right-click on the model or the base, you can set up these cohesion radiuses, kind of like the reminder pawn. Right. So if I could say, is this model here within a cohesion of 4? Yes, it is. If it was twilight visibility, or maybe the model is hidden during daylight, it's going to be a little bit less. So cohesion of 2. Oh, look at this. It is. All right. What else can you do? Well, let's go and right-click and do a clear. We can say maybe this model has been KO'd. So I can right-click and I click KO'd, and now it's marked as KO'd. Right? Maybe this model here is eliminated. I can right-click and click eliminated. So there it is. To remove these statuses, you just go and click KO'd again for this person, and eliminate for this person, and they're back to normal. That's the power of these bases, and it's used throughout the demonstration. Let me go and delete them for now. Actually, let me go and detach them. It turns red to detach. And come back here. And red, detach. There. Let's go delete these bases now. They're gone. You hover over it and click delete, and it goes away. Alright, press spacebar to get back to neutral view. Let's take a look at some of the dice. Alright, so the top right over here, you see this turn indicator. Let's go and navigate to that. Right, so here we go. Any die inside Tabletop Simulator has six faces. And if you press the keys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, that face will show up. So if I press a 6, you see a 6 show up. I press 3, a 3 show up. In most games, you begin at turn 1, so I press 1, and that becomes the turn number. Like before this initiative card, if you want to flip a card, press F. Right? Just a little reminder, nice little thing to have. These are the end game dice, or end dice, right? They're regular dice, I just give them a blue color, per se the standard for MEST Tactics. And if you want to roll dice, you do an area select, click drag around them all. They'll be highlighted, and you press the R key to roll them. I usually count out loud 3 times. I press the R key 3 times, and I let go, and I'm done. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you hover over one of the highlighted dice, all the dice which have been highlighted, will be added together. You can see here a total of 9 pips on display. You can count that. Right? 1, 2, 3. Now it's 11 pips. All right. The MEST dice are similarly created. They have 6 sides. So if I want to select a particular side, like the 6th side, I press 6 as I'm over this one. If I want to roll a MEST dice, like any other dice, I area select them all. Then I press the R key. I do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I let go. And if I hover over one of the dice, it shows that I have 2 successes. You can see there's 2 pips, 1 success per pip. The bigger dice here are my utility dice. I usually use them to define who the mission attacker is, or who the mission defender is, or something else. They're just regular 6-sided dice made really big. As you navigate down further, you'll see these measuring sticks. They're just pretty much deco, because in a 3D environment they're kind of hard to manipulate. But I want to show you the tokens. right? So the token bags are here. There's a bunch of them. So if I, oops, you can see that these are done tokens, weight, VP, and these are infinity bags, right? So if you were to click and drag from the infinity bag, you can see that it'd give you an infinite amount, right? Let's get rid of all of them. Let's go demonstrate what the done token ability is, because I've scripted this as well with this particular done clear component. Right, so pretend you have a bunch of these soldiers around, right? In MEST Tactics, every model begins ready, which means that they are not marked with one of these blue done tokens. Let's make a bunch of these guys. All right, suppose you have all these models, and maybe this one here too. Okay, and this is the beginning of the game, right? They're all ready. None of them have done tokens. And as they finish their initiative, complete all the actions that they can, they'll be identified with a blue done token, right? So let's go and drag these blue done tokens and place them adjacent to these other models, right? One at a time. Okay, so this is during the course of play. This many models, probably like, there's 10 models, might be like, 30, 40 minutes, who knows? It's a bunch of time. Okay. And you can see that, as all the models are identified with a done token, none of them are by definition ready. And the game turn ends and you begin a new game turn. To begin a new game turn in real life, you pick up all the done tokens one by one. Not a hard thing to do. In a virtual reality space, this is very difficult. It's bothersome. So I created this done clear control right here. If you click on that, any token which is identified with the tag done, let's go right click on this thing here, go to tags, done. If you click on this done clear, it will remove all the done tokens and identify them all as ready. Watch this. You see, they're all gone now. So now this is the beginning of the new turn and everyone's ready again. Okay, I'm back to the neutral view. I moved the markers over here, the character models. And I want to show you the dynamic pawns. These are similar to the reminder pawn. If you right click on them, it gives you these options. And they're all based upon this tooltip value of 24 MU. These dynamic pawns can be used to demarcate, like in this case here, your starting battlefield edge areas, right? And they're all defaulted to the quarter box, which means that the length of it will be 24, and they are a quarter of that, which is 6 inches wide, 6 measured units wide. If I go to half box, you can see there that the thin blue line kind of increased in width. If I go to an eighth box, it becomes a little narrower, and I'm back to a quarter box. If I do this to the radius via the tooltip, it should give me a radius of 24 measured units, which is pretty darn big. You can see that it extends out this way. And if I were to change this to, say, 4, and then do a radius, you can see now it's pretty much the same as the reminder pawn. Let's go back to 24 here, and quarter box, and you're back to normal. So the best place to do measurement, the best perspective to do measurement is top view. That means you press the P key until you're in top view mode. And then from here you can accurate measurements, which means that whatever you measure will always be exactly what you think it should be. In our case here, it should be a 48 by 48 inch or per se inch or measured units playing field. Click on the line, make sure you're on grid, and we'll go from one of these sides to the other side. That's about 48 right there. But look what happens when you get into third person perspective. I press the P key until I'm back to third person perspective. And as I click from one side to another side, it shows 51. That's because you're actually off just a little bit with the perspective, not showing that this is a non-parallel line to the non-perpendicular line to the two sides of the battlefield. Alright, so go back to neutral view, and then press P a couple times to get to top view. And you'll see that this is a box here, and this is the playing area. Right click on the grid divider, and you can see it says lines 2x2 to 8x4, 12x4. If you want a 4x4 playing area, select 4x4. And so from top view you can see that the demarcations of the other dynamic pawns are correct. If you want a smaller area, say a 3x3 playing area, there it is. Right, so these all work together. I think this field actually is 8x4? 8x4, it's pretty big. It's more than enough to do a lot of things. And then most people inside, gaming clubs have a 6x4, and 4x4, 3x3, 2x3, it's a bunch. Alright, so back to neutral view. Alright, let's get back to showing more about the various components on this layout. Let's go back to these boxes here. Right? Each of these treasure boxes contain multiple other components, and there's a bunch of them. Majority of these components are already out on the right hand side on the layout. But to look inside a component that is a treasure box, you right click when you're hovering over it, and you do a search. And then this thing comes up, right? You can see the dice on this one, which are all these dice here. This next one is your markers and tokens. Right click on that, do a search. Puff, utilities, markers, and fires, right? These are all down here on the right hand side. Utility aids, let's do a search. You can see there's like a clock if you want to keep track of time. This is kind of interesting. This is part of Tabletop Simulator. More measuring sticks and your victory point and resource point counters, right? And some reminder pawns. Let's pull up these. These are all part of someone else's designs. I think they're part of Tabletop Simulator. Let's pull these out, for example. It only gives you one, but for anything you see as a component, because this is virtual, you can right click and you can clone it or copy it. Right? If I want to give one for each player. And here, for example, I copy it. And if I click drag, hold down the long press, I can drag it around. I can press the Q and E keys when I hover it so that it rotates. How fast it rotates is 15 degrees at a time, and you can go to the top right here. You can see rotation degrees. Click on that. 16, 90, back to 15. All right. So if you come closer to these little counters, if I want to have more victory points, let's rotate the wrong direction. Oops. I have 8 here. And that guy go there. Over here, rotate this. Q and E. And I want to have more resource points. Minus, right? It's just really nice to have these. Let's get rid of that. Back to neutral view. Alright, let's go take a look at the rules treasure box. Right click on that and go to search. You'll see a single PDF there. If you delete this PDF, it's gone. You can only get it back by doing undo, which is, I told you, very destructive. Or you reload the game module. Let's make a copy of this and paste it, and then put it back inside the blue box. All right. So these are the quick start rules. If you right click upon any PDF, a pop-out will appear, and it will display for yourself, not for the other player. However, if you navigate through this, you may notice that over here, I'll go to top view, and you can see this a little bit clearer. As I navigate through the pop-up, whatever's being face up here will change, right? So if you're trying to be very sneaky, it's not going to work a little bit. It's going to fail. Anyway, inside the quick start rules, the pop-up, you press on the page number, like 32. You'll go to 32, you press 1. You'll go to page 1. Quick start rules. right? Or you click on these little tabs here, and that gets you to where you want to go. Close the pop-out here. Make sure you don't press the other X button, which kills your Tabletop Simulator instance. Right, let's go delete this one. Back to neutral view. Alright, so there are some other boxes here, which are now the character profiles. This green box is the character sheet box. It's scripted. It's kind of powerful, but also a bit limited. I'll cover that in a later video. These two boxes here, your introductory set characters and your basic set characters. Introductory set are for the introductory scenarios covered in the MEST Tactics core rules. They're also used here to help you with learning the game. They're very simple archetypes, like maybe a simple weapon and a really very basic characters. Let's go open this up. Let's go to search and bag of items, which are your characters. Just drag this out, and you have your introductory mission. And those introductory missions are inside one of the other boxes. All right, so click on this, open it up, and you can drag out some characters here. Right, there's a couple more. Here are the rules. Right, anything else? That's it. All right, so let's go and zoom a little closer. Top view, zoom closer to what we got here. All right, so mission 1 is Cain versus Abel, and it tells you what you should be learning. Learn how to do these actions: move, close combat attack, refresh, disengage, and range combat attack. All right, these are the character treasure boxes. They have predefined characters. The introductory character set also has a number of starter missions, like introductory missions. Very simple stuff. But before I get to adding these characters, let me show you that you can do an additive load to the MEST Tactics battlefield area. You'll have to subscribe to other modules. I have a number of them that I've already subscribed to, ones that I've created using assets I found inside Tabletop Simulator, various workshops. And I've organized them under my own games, workshop, Noble Pursuits folder. And we go to MEST Tactics here, and you can see that I have, some layouts, some battlefields. Here we go. So each of these are prefixed with MEST, matter, energy, space, time. They're available inside the Tabletop Simulator, workshop search feature. And for the introductory, set of characters, I have this introductory layout. It's pretty much the scenarios for arena, battles. I call it the pit or the arena of death. Let's go and load one of these, right? So if you load it directly by clicking on this, it destroys whatever you have behind you. And what you want to do instead is an additive load. So as you hover over these optional layouts, these little traffic light icon appears, and click on that, and you want to do an additive load, right? Additive load will it will not be destructive. It will add on to what you've got. So it will add this layout on top of the layout I currently have. A layout in this case is everything that you see in the virtual space, right? So I want to additively load. Right, you see now that I have my 2x2 battlefield layout of my arena of death, or the pit, right? With that in place, maybe I want to keep this, for future scenarios. So Tabletop Simulator provides you a way to save your current configuration. You can go to Games, you do Save and Load, and you can say, for example, intro. We'll click on here. You say intro layouts for MEST Tactics. click Save, and there it is. So now if you were to somehow exit this, like for example, you go to Menu, and you were to go to the main menu, or if not, and you go back to single player mode, and you can just do a save and load, and you can find your intro layouts, that one we just saved. And instead of doing an additive load this time, you actually want to click on the picture and just load that, and it loads everything that you had saved. Now with that in mind, we can go and start looking at the introductory set characters and the introductory missions. Alright, so we're in neutral view, and the very first mission will be stored inside here. Do a right click on this treasure box, do a search, and you have mission 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring up mission 1. It's super simple. Close this. Be careful, don't press the other X, press this one here. And it's a toggle, so click on this. And there's 5 items. Let's pull them all out. I'll zoom in a little bit. And we have Cain, Abel. We have Cain's model here and Abel's model here. And we'll pull out the intro mission itself. So these are the profiles or character cards associated with each of these models. These models are the default ones that Tabletop Simulator provides, and so they're animated. You can find random models inside Tabletop Simulator. Most of them are not animated. They're just basic meshes. So if you hover over these models, it gives you all the stats for that model. The 9 attributes, the fact that it's a club, it's worth 30 build points. It's an average humanoid character by name of Cain, right? And the introductory mission basically says, learn the rules, learn how to do move, close combat, disengage, and then you have these choices for the weapons assigned to Cain and Abel. You should begin with the improvised weapon. There's very few traits at all. And once you understand how to do combat, then of course you want to use a club, which is what they're defaulted to having. And then it introduces a new trait called stun, right? Okay, so suppose you loaded these guys up, right? One player puts their model here in their starting zone. Well, this is a 2x2 battlefield, so maybe you want to change this to a half box, right? So they begin here, and then the other player begins here. Make this a half box, right? And that model goes here, and then of course you begin your game. I'll demonstrate how to do a game using this virtual reality interface later on. But that's how you would start, your game sessions, at least with the introductory rules. And of course, if we go back here, there's 3 more missions you can accomplish, right? Let me go and reset this down to what we saved last time, to the intro layout here. Because this arena is kind of nice for just really basic terrain. As we get more terrain, it gets a little more complicated because you have to worry about things like rough terrain, difficult terrain, uneven, that sort of thing. Now that we've finished the introductory set of characters, let's take a look at the basic set of characters. These are more advanced or complicated or complex profiles. There's, right-click search, there's a bag of figurines. These figurines are the animated ones provided by the Tabletop Simulator game environment. And then there's obviously these cards. Close out the X by clicking the red one, not the one on the outside. All right, let's drag out the deck of cards here. It's an infinite box. So if you just drag them out, F to flip it over, let's go rotate this around a little bit. Then go to top view. You can see there's 18 cards in this deck. There's a lot of variety. And if you want to have more than one copy of a card, you just do a copy and then paste. All right. So each of these is in the standard format that you've already seen in other places on the Noble Pursuits website. And they are paired with these figurines. So there's a bunch of them. It's nice, right? This is what you get for a Tabletop Simulator. Let's go into third-person perspective. And oops, that's first person. All right. So here you have a skeleton warrior. There's one in here somewhere. Right. And like the Abel and Cain and the other characters you saw in the introductory set, if you hover over one of these pawns, you can see that they have their attributes identified there, and the traits they're associated with, and maybe some of the weapons that they're, like this one has bite. Right over here is Perslict. Perslict is a lizard-like, a lizard folk being, bite and claws, got armored gear, medium mail armor, right? And this stuff will be identified on their characters cards as well. The character cards are a lot more compact than the Simulacrum character cards you got from the introductory set. So let's see here. Is this something we can look at? Any kobold? Who's this? That's Alyssa. Here's any kobold, for example. Let's go and zoom in a little bit on this guy. All right. So any kobold, there it is. And 0, 1, 2, the attribute line is identified here. Right, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2 matches this stat line. And it's got, it's worth 32 build points. It's an untrained sneak, which is an untrained sneak here. And, it's got an axe and a helmet, so you have an axe and a helmet. Anyway, so with these characters, they have more traits, more variety of traits. And, they can be interacted with just like any other characters that have already been set up that are derived from the Tabletop Simulator assets. So with that, you can play a more complex arena battle. Back to neutral, and we'll continue on with the more complex stuff now. All right, there's another scripted feature. It's for these character sheets, and they allow you to make custom assignment to models. It's a lot of scripting. It's not as powerful as I'd like. But it is very useful. Let's presume that we have some models stored up somewhere. Let's go and find some. I stored some that I found on Tabletop Simulator, and I want to go to my saved bag here, and because these are developed by other players, they may or may not be available when I load them up, but maybe I'll find one that I might like. Like maybe this Urgul, which is a Games Workshop, 3D mesh. I'm going to drag this out here. Okay, and we're going to zoom a little closer. I'll put on this black area so you can see it more clearly. All right, and some of these assets, I don't remember who made this one. Attribution is very difficult inside Tabletop Simulator. There's no, it doesn't really show anything like who made this or what game they belong to. But this particular one has like 3 different states, so I can go to state 1, 2, and 3. It changes the mesh. See that it goes from the other 2 goblin meshes to this Medusa mesh. Let's go to mesh 1. All right, and in this box is the CRS. It will interact with models that have been tagged with the model tag. So because this comes from another player, I have to assign the tags myself. So I click on tags, and I'll make it a model. All right. Now I drag out this character sheet box, and I got a character sheet. Let's go rotate this around a little bit. All right. So this character sheet is freeform. One of the documents I'll write, and I'll make it available, is how to create your own custom profiles, custom archetypes. But even with the quick start rules, there's a number of archetypes that you can already have access to in profiles. So suppose you knew what you wanted, right? Let's suppose that you wanted to give this guy a name, give this model a name like Gimpy, right? And you want to give them stats like 5, 4, 3, some random stuff. Don't make it too powerful because the game will break. Don't design that way. Give some traits like stealthy. Using the same syntax I have, which is delimiting the traits by a dot. And the default trait level is a 1 if you don't specify a number. So say stealthy, we got bite 2, and we got maybe sprinting, right? Disabilities, maybe he's a coward. And weapons, there are no weapons except for the bite. And then armor, there's no armor. And equipment, there's no equipment. All right. And let's say it's like worth 18 BP because you looked it up somewhere or you calculated that it's 18 BP. All these other numbers here are for keeping you consistent, doesn't really matter for this demonstration purposes. All right, so now that this model has been given a tag of model, if you were to drop this on top of the character record sheet and pick it back up again, if you hover over it, you'll see that its attributes have been assigned to match whatever was on the character record sheet. Furthermore, you might have this model way over here somewhere and you don't know where it's at. Maybe there's like a couple of them. And it's bound to this character sheet. One way to demonstrate it's bound is you have these toggles here. This first toggle, I actually don't remember what it does. This toggle here draws a line from your character record sheet to where the model is at, so that you can say, hey, there it is. If you really want to be able to find it, this other one here creates a, oh, they changed the color to the current player. Oh yeah, this one. It creates this, well, you can't really see it here. It creates this vertical column, which will help track it. Unfortunately, the art will end at whatever the clipping area of the battlefield is, because it won't draw above that. You see, as I rotate. But it's useful for finding your model bound to this character record sheet in a clutter of other models. So that's what it does. And if you want to change the stats, again, like maybe make this from a 5. Here it is. Look. It's a 5 CCA, right? Maybe you want to make it a 1. Okay, hover over this, it's still a 5. So click back on this thing, rebind it. It's a 1 now, 1 CCA. Okay, that's how you use that character record sheet, right? So let's go and clear this out, go back to neutral, and we'll get into the other layouts. All right, so before we actually do a gameplay tutorial, I want to show you about the other terrain modules that you can load. I've reset the view to be, whatever you get when you first load the MEST Tactics baseline. And I've subscribed to a number of terrain modules. There's hundreds of terrain modules out there. Many of them are not really optimized for MEST Tactics. But I've created a number of them. So I've stored them inside my own folder under Workshop. You have to do your own searching for this, but inside the Tabletop Simulator Workshop, community search interface, you can find anything that I've created under MEST Tactics. So, like here under Battlefields, besides the arena which I had earlier, I have some wilderness ones, and I have a couple of like so here's a town, here's another small little town or village. Right. I even created like a Dungeon of Death sort of thing, and these are more like for modern, takes on the MEST Tactics, modern genres. But they're really nice because I made sure that they were, something that you can put models upon, that the meshes were correct. Now that stated, I'm using assets that I got from other players. So some of these layouts might actually not load all the assets because they've been deleted. Players, stop playing and they deleted their account, or some other policy issue may have prevented those assets becoming available. But I do my best to make sure that they're all clean. So let's look, for example, a small town like this one here, crowded town layout. Let's load this one up. All right, you see it? Right, kind of nice. Okay, so the lighting effects are all there, right? So you can't go inside these buildings. They're pretty much just gigantic blocks of terrain blocking your line of sight. And this is where that you know, that CRS, the character record sheet comes into play. Oh, it looks like as if I overloaded everything. Let me load that back up again. MEST Tactics baseline. Right, I may do an additive load this time. So go to workshop here, go to there, battlefields, and then as I hover over this crowded town layout, I click on the traffic light icon and do an additive load instead. Here we go. So all my MEST Tactics information is still outside, and then the layout for the town is in the middle, right? And this will be a good, example of the kind of remarkable detail you can get from a 3D virtual environment. Let's try another one. Just go do, again, the baseline comes first. Then I go and go to workshop, my stored subscriptions, battlefields, and maybe load some terrain for the wilderness. Let's go out and say we'll load up this clearing. Don't want to do a load, want to do an additive load. All right, so this is an example of a missing asset. If the asset's missing, you see here I'm missing one asset. You got to refine it. I don't know where I got it from, so I'm going to go and click this and close it. Another one. Right, so I'm missing two assets. But this is still good enough, right? Look at that. All right, so that's how we load other layouts, more complex ones besides the introductory, arena with its 4x4 arrangement of columns. So let's begin with how to play the game pretty soon. All right, so let me show you some of the interesting pawns that are tokens that are used for the advanced game. So let's go navigate over here to like the Fume and Puff and fire markers. Right, so the fire tokens, you can see there's like a range of influence of it should be 2 measured units, 2 inches. And if you hover over these, you see that there are 4 states, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can press the buttons, the keys 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get different sizes. There's a 1, this is a 2, 3, and a 4. Right. So I think this is the largest one. They're out of order. I'll try to fix that. Same thing goes with the puff tokens. Right. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 situation. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, the area of influence is that white ring. And then the fume markers, some traits like canisters have a fume trait, and they're used in conjunction with the puff markers. So 1, 2, 3, 4 are kind of out of order as well. These default to gray, but you can always change the color of something by right-clicking on it and then changing the color tint. Like suppose you want it to be a fume marker representing a poison cloud, and you like green. You click on this, and you select green, right? Like one of these colors for green. And you click apply, and you can see now there's a cloud of poison. And then here, maybe make this one like mustard gas, which will be like an orangish, brown, yellow kind of thing. Apply that. So now it's mustard gas, right? Okay, so this one here will be the rate of fire marker or suppression marker. And I've already loaded up something for you to take a look at. Right here is the marker. And we get a little closer, you can see what's going on. Alright, so in MEST Tactics, suppression markers represent an area that is recently, filled with flying bullets from whichever direction, really can't tell. And so they're kind of like a psychological effect. And models are within 1 inch of it, radius of it, within range of it. They have a hard time doing anything besides hiding or stopping what they're doing. And you can tell what the radius is by right-clicking on the marker and clicking on 1 MU radius. You see that here. This model is outside of that effect zone, but you can actually copy these things and lay them down. Usually when you lay down suppression fire, you're going to cover this entire area with them, right? So this model is already affected by 1 in range, and if it were to try to cross through this recently covered path, maybe get to this side, it's going to stop. It probably will not go very far. One of the last markers to show is the noise marker. The noise marker is used in the optional rules. In the optional rules, the idea of having noise present makes it very difficult for models to get into hidden status. They become, they require a delay token if they're within the noise OR. And so the different levels of noise are, 1, which is quiet, 2 is talking, 3 is shouting, 4 and higher is like firearms and explosions. So it's 4 MU, 16, 64, and 256. It covers pretty much the entire battlefield. Anything beyond 3 is a little bit ridiculous. So if you right-click, you can get this, right? So it's transparent, and 2 is a little bit bigger. Each of these have 2 sides to demarcate if it belongs to the white player, blue or red. If you flip it, it becomes gray. So the black player, or again blue or red, however the players decide. That's pretty much it for that.